Throw it again. I dare you. Let everyone see what kind of boy you really are. The forkful of food hit her blazer like a dirty signature. A rich boy's laugh followed right behind it. Light and careless, like humiliation was just dinner entertainment. His mother laughed too, loud enough to make the room feel safe for cruelty. Around them, expensive plates and bright smiles stayed perfectly in place. No one moved. No one defended her. Silence did what silence always does. It sided with power. Amara Cole did not flinch. She looked down at the stain, then up at the faces watching her like she was a test. Her posture stayed calm, shoulders steady, eyes clear. She was the kind of woman people underestimated because she did not fight with noise. She fought with control. The boy, Preston Whitmore, leaned back like a king on a throne. 17 and bored, dressed in a suit that screamed money. He expected anger. He expected tears. He expected her to beg for respect so the room could enjoy denying it. His mother's smile said he had never been told no in his life. Amara reached for her napkin and dabbed the sauce once, slow and deliberate, like she was wiping away something small. That calm made the air change. The laughter thinned. A few guests stopped chewing. A server froze mid-step. People could feel it, even if they didn't understand it yet. This woman was not trapped here. This woman was choosing how the moment would end. Preston smirked and shrugged, acting innocent. It was just a joke. His mother waved a hand like Amara's dignity. It was a minor inconvenience. Relax. You people get offended by everything. Amara's eyes stayed on them, steady as a locked door. This is not about food, she said quietly. It is about who you feel safe humiliating. That sentence hit the room harder than shouting, because it forced everyone to look at themselves. The guests who laughed. The guests who stayed silent. The ones who stared at their plates like they could hide behind porcelain. Preston's father, Richard Whitmore, finally shifted in his seat. His smile was still there, but the edges were cracking. He knew the truth the room didn't. Tonight wasn't just a family dinner. It was a fundraiser. A reputation show. A business move. And the woman his son just mocked was the woman their company needed. Amara did not announce her title. She did not flex her power. She didn't have to. Power was already sitting behind her eyes, quiet and unshakable. She rose from her chair with smooth control. No drama. She placed her napkin on the table like a final decision. The entire room went still, waiting for her to either forgive them or explode. She did neither. Respect is not a favor, she said. It is the baseline. And anyone who can't manage that doesn't get access to me? Richard stood fast, panic leaking through his charm. Dr. Cole, please, let's not ruin the evening. Let's fix this. Amara looked at him with calm clarity. You are right. Let's fix it. Starting with the truth, she turned her gaze to Preston. You threw food because you wanted to feel bigger, but you don't become big by making someone else small. You become small by needing to. Preston's smile fell apart. The room could see it happen in real time. The first crack in a boy who had always been protected from consequence. His mother tried to laugh again. But her laugh sounded thin now, desperate. Come on, it was nothing. You're going to leave over a stain. Amara's voice stayed gentle, which made it even sharper. It is never just a stain. It is a habit. She walked out, not as a woman running away, but as a woman closing a door. People watched her go like they had just witnessed a rule change in the world. By morning, the Whitmores felt the cost. A message arrived from Amara's company withdrawing from the partnership talks. Another donor pulled out. Then another. Calls stopped returning. Doors that always opened for the Whitmores began to stay shut. That afternoon, Richard's hands trembled as he read numbers that spelled disaster. Their company needed that partnership. Without it, they were exposed. Without it, the family name was just a fancy label on a sinking ship. That evening, Richard and his wife stood at Amara's front door with Preston between them. Their posture was smaller now. Their confidence had melted into something close to fear. Preston's eyes were down not because he was polite, but because shame finally had weight. Amara opened the door and didn't step aside. She didn't invite them in with warmth. She didn't punish them with cruelty. She simply looked at them like a judge who already knew the facts. Richard spoke first, voice tight. "We came to apologize." Amara's tone was calm, almost soft. "Do you want to apologize? Or do you want to stop what this is costing you?" Richard's face tightened. He couldn't lie. "Both," he admitted. Amara nodded once. "Good. Honesty is the first step." Preston finally spoke, voice rough. "I was wrong. I thought it was funny. I thought you wouldn't matter." The words came out ugly, because the truth is ugly when you finally say it out loud. Amara held his gaze. "You don't get to decide who matters," she said. "You only get to decide who you become." His mother opened her mouth to defend him out of habit. But Amara stopped her with one quiet line. "Your laugh taught him this." Silence fell on the porch. Heavy and deserved, Amara let them inside, not for comfort, but for accountability. Her home smelled clean and calm, the kind of calm built by someone who has had to fight for peace. She laid out terms like a blueprint. "Preston volunteers weekly at the youth center my company funds. For a full year, no photos, no bragging. You will listen more than you speak. You will serve people you used to look past." Preston nodded fast. "Yes." Amara looked at Celeste, the mother. "And you will stop treating cruelty like a joke. Because jokes don't raise boys like that. Permission does." Celeste's face burned. She whispered, "I understand." Then Amara delivered the line that stayed with them like a mark. It couldn't wash off. "Forgiveness is not a door you demand. It is a bridge you earn." Weeks passed. Preston showed up at the youth center and stayed quiet. He cleaned tables, carried boxes, listened to stories he never cared about before. He learned that dignity isn't something you can throw at someone. It's something people carry, even when they're being tested. Richard made public changes instead of private excuses. Celeste stopped laughing at harm and started correcting it. Not because it was trendy, because they finally learned what it felt like to lose control of the outcome. Amara didn't change. She didn't need to. She kept moving forward, funding schools, building programs, mentoring young leaders who had been treated like targets the way she once had. Her power was never the loud kind. It was the kind that makes people grow up. Because the real twist wasn't that the rich family begged, that real twist was that she didn't need their approval to be worthy. She only needed them to. Understand what respect costs when you refuse to pay it. If this story hit you, comment where you're watching from and tell me the moment that made you sit up straight. Do you believe people truly change? Or do they just fear consequences? Subscribe for more stories about quiet power, real respect, and justice that doesn't need to shout.